That was fun. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to New Thought Center for Spiritual Living. We are so happy that you are with us. Let's start the morning with some music. If you feel able and willing, please stand and join us. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Fantastic. It's Christmas time. Can you believe that? Yes. And if you are watching us online on Facebook or YouTube, please be sure to tell us where you're watching from in the comment section, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe every time you like it. It helps the algorithm find more people to join our community. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell time and jingle bell ring, snowing and blowing and bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell chime and jingle bell rhyme, dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle in a jingling beat, that's the Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing and bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell chime and jingle bell rhyme, dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time, it's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go riding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, jingle up your feet, jingle around the clock.
here. Holiday cheer. Oh my goodness. Isn't this wonderful? So welcome. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Is it kind of echoey or loud? No? Is that me? Is there a little bit of a reverb maybe, Rand? Something? All right. Welcome. Welcome to those of you online. Welcome to those of you here. Oh my goodness. What a blessing it is to be together. I want to take a moment before we do anything, and can we acknowledge the beauty in this place? What? Oh my goodness, we had so many incredible beings that helped to decorate for this holiday season, and I'm going to say their names, and I would like them to stand so that we can love them up. Mary Desch, Jody Dalton, Liz Hay, Carol Lorian, Donna Nuccicelli, Mary Kinghorn, Mike Pearson, Carolyn Gomez, and the ringleader of it all, Wendy Odiaga. Where are you, Wendy? We love you. Thank you so much. Come here, darling. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was here almost every day this week, and so was Wendy. And so many of these beautiful beings who created this sacred space for us. So grateful, so grateful. I also want to take a moment and acknowledge these beautiful flowers that are here. You know, we have reinstated, you can bring in flowers if you want to celebrate something. And these flowers are from our very own practitioner, Rebecca Hirioka, in the booth. Love you, Rebecca. And they are in honor of the women in our country and all of those who work to uphold and expand women's rights. God bless you, Rebecca. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I want to welcome those of you who are here for the very first time visiting us or joining us, those of you online who are here for the first time. This is the time in our service where we acknowledge that we are on the ancestral land of the Kalapuya people, and we affirm indigenous history, experiences, and sovereignty. And just know that we are an inclusive, progressive, and compassionate spiritual community dedicated to spirit-led social action and helping to make the world a better place for all people everywhere. And speaking of all people, everyone is welcome into this safe and sacred place exactly as you are this day. And not only are you welcome here, but on behalf of those who have come before you, we have mindfully and we have thoughtfully created a place just for you, exactly as you are this day. And so welcome. Let's welcome our people that are here for the first time. Glad you're here. So with that, I invite you to take a nice deep breath in, and I'll invite Reverend Masando to do our opening blessing.
So let's just take a moment and go within. To this place within us that is deeply sacred, yet so deeply familiar to us at the same time. We come into this presence where we remember our oneness with all that is. As we enter into this time, this season, where we are being called to carry the light through this winter time, we discover that light within is always burning brightly, illuminating within us all that we need to know, all that we need to remember, that which we are being called to realize about ourselves and the world, that which we are seeking to bring more of. We make contact with this light that comes to us as this sacred wisdom that has been thought about and discovered throughout time, throughout every religious tradition, we come into this same presence right here and right now, allowing it to light the way through our lives from within, knowing that we always have this inner compass that is guided by love, that is held by peace, and that is strengthened by that joy that we find just by being here and now. And so we just enter into this sacred time together, knowing that this light and this love is the truest truth of who we are. And so we just allow that to be. We let it deeply be so. And so it is. So I just invite us to stay in this place as I invite practitioner Helen Ohm up for our words of inspiration. She's going to be sharing some original poetry with us today.
Thank you, and good morning. My little poem is called The Magic of Light. You are the bringer of the light. Into the world it comes, unseen, unheard, unnoticed in the night. Reclaim this power you know is yours. For eons it's been so. For in the darkness it seeded itself in the places you have sown. For light to come into matter, just create the space within. It only takes an opening, a prayer, or a deep intent for it to become the thing prayed for the light to fully descend. And when you rise from slumber and the morning is aglow, you feel light's warmth and love in you. And, well, you just know your candle has been lit. Your body begins to soften, and your mind, well, it begins to melt and to overflow the places you have been, and to leave behind the hardened parts, impurities, and unfelt. And reach at last that silent night where innocence does lie. You take the flame that's lit in you and pass it on its way. By bending slightly forward, you can light another's wick, and she another friend's, and he his neighbor, and on I say, until each candle's lit, and we can clearly see there's only ever been one candle, just one light, only one humanity for all of us to be. One earth, one heaven, one eternity. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, Helen. So we're just going to enter into a time of meditation and contemplation, just staying in this sacred space. So I just invite you to allow the words that have already been spoken, allow this intuitive aspect of yourself to come fully alive, and just allow these words that are being sung to wash over you and within you. And if it feels good, to join along and allow them to be a mantra for you as you go about this week.
I shine the light of love. You are a radiant light of God. You shine the light of love. You are a radiant light of God. You shine the light of love. We are a radiant light of God. We shine the light of love. We are the radiant light of God. We shine the light of love. I am the radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. I am the radiant light of God. I shine the light of love. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we have a faith. You can stay right here, or you can actually scoot right on over, darling, if you want to witness this building of our interfaith altar. And you know, in our community, we started this kind of in full force in 2019 when I was first here. And it's this idea of this season of light, this holiday season. We get to build an interfaith altar, bringing in all of the grace and the love from the great world religions. And last week, if you recall, we began in this season of Advent by lighting our first candle. We also celebrated the Baha'i festival, the Ascension of Abdul Baha, which was the successor of Baha'u'llah in that beautiful tradition. And we also brought in, of course, the menorah for Hanukkah, which I'm going to be speaking about. And this week, what we are going to be celebrating for Advent is the profound concept of spiritually grounded hope. Hope is found throughout spiritual tradition, and this is the season, I believe, of grounded hope. And so with that, I would like to invite up one of our beloved families, Jen Moore and Parker Kaufman Moore, to light our candle of hope for today. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Parker. So with our candle of hope being lit, let us all take a deep breath. And so it is.
Well, I have a treat for you. I'm very excited to introduce our guest artist this morning. You can find her singing in dance hall days alongside Joe Mangus. They played the Gemini down the street fairly regularly. Keep an eye out for that. Please give a warm center welcome to Darcy Bradley.
'Tis a season of change. Seasons are the contrast key to life and how it's done. It's time to let go of all our past and let go of what's to come. Write down your excuses and turn them into dust, and plant the seeds of change, water it with trust, and light a light tonight. We light a light. We light a light tonight. We light a light. Now that this time is ending and everyone is here, we light a light this year. 'Tis a season of change. What do we have? What do we have not? What do we need that isn't here? This mindless, numb, consuming, it's driven by a subtle fear. It's time we stop believing that there will not be enough. I know they said it on the TV. Well, turn it off, break the chains, step outside and feel love, and light a light tonight. We light a light. We light a light tonight. We light a light. Now that this time is ending and everyone is here, we light a light this year. 'Tis a season of change. Change. 'Cause I change. We must change. Heaven is inside, it's all around, not just above. Choose only love. Heaven is inside, it's all around, not just above. Choose only love. 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 And light a light tonight. We light a light. We light a light tonight. We light a light. Ooh, we light a light tonight. We light a light. Ooh, we light a light tonight. We light a light. 'Tis a season of change.
Yes. Yes. Darcy Bradley here for the first time. Welcome. You're awesome. Not a lot of people can sing Melissa Etheridge. You are awesome, Darcy. Welcome. So glad you are with us today. Thank you for being here. So great, so great. I want to also thank Reverend Barb for speaking last week. Wasn't she wonderful? Rev Barb is one of our ministers emerita, and she blesses us. And tomorrow is her birthday. Happy early birthday, Rev Barb. We love you so much. Yes, yes. So, yes. Tonight we light a light. Oh, it's in my because tonight is the last night of Hanukkah. The song is so beautiful for so many reasons. And you know, Hanukkah is one of my favorite holidays to talk about. And I tell you, it just gets more interesting. Every year I dive a little bit deeper into the richness of the story and how Hanukkah came about. And you know, the story of Hanukkah, the way that it came about, it is really all about social justice. It's a story about social justice, and it's also profoundly mystical. Two of my favorite things. Social justice and mysticism. I'm in my happy place. So, a very, very long time ago, thousands of years ago, the religious traditions and the Jewish way of life were being seriously threatened by the ancient Greeks. And by the 2nd century BCE, Jerusalem was occupied by the Syrians, who way back then were devotees of the culture of ancient Greece. And they were really threatened by the Jewish way of life, which was the belief that it was God who created humanity, and God, or Yahweh, was holy. The Jewish people's loyalty was only to the word of God rather than to the human king back then, who wanted all the attention, and this caused major, major problems. So, as such, the king of the day decided to make Jewish religious practices, such as observing Sabbath, forbidden. He gave orders that all the copies of the law of Moses be searched out and burned. And in an act of absolute spite, he gave orders to right there in what was called the Holy of the Holies, which is the sacred place in the Temple of Jerusalem. It was a sacred, sacred square that the highest priest could only go to once per year, the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur. It was also the place where the Ark of the Covenant was enshrined, and the Ark of the Covenant, which was this sacred, sacred symbol of Israel's special relationship with God. This spiteful human who happened to be a king decided that it would be in that very, very location in the Temple of Israel that he would put up an altar to honor the Greek god Zeus. And it was in that very sacred space that he ordered pigs to be slaughtered. Pigs who were forbidden by the Jews in any place. And this was just too much for the Jewish people, can you imagine, in their sacred place. And so as a result, a battle ensued, and this small but mighty band of dedicated, the word Hanukkah means dedicated, this small band of dedicated priest-like warriors called the Maccabees went into battle, a battle that lasted for 3 years. So much blood was shed and lives lost, but they stood for what they believed in, and against all odds, the Maccabees won. They won against this powerful, huge Greek army who was very well equipped. You know, a very important part of this story that I think often is overlooked is that really you can trace back this battle for social justice the Maccabees embarked upon. Really what they did was they saved monotheism. Really, one could argue monotheism is the idea that there is one God. The Greeks had many gods. There's one God in the Jewish tradition, just as there is one God later in the Christian tradition, which came out of the Jewish tradition, and then in Islam. All thanks to the Maccabees, who stood for multiculturalism, who took a stand for social justice, and making certain that everyone had a right to practice and love their God in their way, and follow their cultures and their traditions in their way. It was essentially about protecting everyone's faith and culture. And so after the astounding victory of the Maccabees, this extraordinary victory, they took back Jerusalem and they took back their temple. They took back that sacred place. And after cleaning it, because it was nearly destroyed, they realized that they only had enough oil to light a lamp for one night. Only for one night. After all that, after 3 years, can you even imagine? Here they are. Here they are. Exhausted from battle, finally back in their temple, in their holy place, the place which represented the promise of the Jewish people, the place which represented the relationship that human beings have with the divine. When they discover they only have oil enough to last one night. Why is that important? Because in the ancient world, oil represented the presence and the power of God or spirit or divine, whatever word you want to use. Oil is mentioned nearly 200 times in the Hebrew and Christian Bibles. Oil was used to anoint and to heal. Jesus of Nazareth was called the Anointed One, right? And oil was required to keep the lamp continuously burning inside the temple. And this represented spirit or God's continuous relationship with the Jewish people. So it was more than just oil in a lamp. It represented the relationship, the continuing and ongoing and everlasting relationship between God and the people. And back then, it took a long time to go get oil, more than a week to go traverse on horseback or donkey back or whatever, and to come back and bring the oil. I think about this moment in the story. They've come so far. They've beaten the odds. They've accomplished so much. And then, can you imagine? No oil. Not enough. Again, they were looking metaphorically, because here in New Thought we understand that the Bible is a story of metaphor. Metaphorically, it represents that again, they were looking at more darkness, at more challenge. What do you mean there is no more oil? What do you mean there is another variant called Omicron? What do you mean that a woman's autonomy is up for discussion around her own body? It's being discussed in the Supreme Court nearly 50 years after Roe versus Wade. What do you mean? What do you mean there was another shooting where kids died in Michigan? What do you mean there is no oil? Hi, God. That's it. For those of you online, God just called and said, Shannon, it's going to be okay. Ooh, this carpet. And I'm not going to trip on this carpet either. All right. So, the story from thousands of years ago is so relatable to today, isn't it? Isn't it? Thousands of years later, my friends, we can all relate. What do you mean there is no more oil? It can be hard to have faith and to remain hopeful when it feels like we keep getting knocked down. The 11th century Rabbi Rashi wrote, "The one who acts out of love cannot be compared to the one who acts out of fear." The one who acts out of love cannot be compared to the one who acts out of fear. So, here is something to consider. When you look at the Maccabees story, There's a piece to consider here. So yes, absolutely, the ancient Greeks produced one of the most remarkable civilizations of the time. They gave us Plato and Aristotle and Socrates, Sophocles. They produced art and architecture like no other. They gave us so much. Yet, in the 2nd century before the Common Era, they were defeated by a small group of Maccabees, people dedicated, there's that word again, dedicated, who dedicated themselves to something greater than themselves. And from then on, Greece as a world power went into decline, while the comparatively smaller group, the Jewish people, survived. Why? What is the difference? Here's a thought. Now, again, the Greeks did many, 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 many good things. But interestingly, they did not believe in a loving God. Rather, they had many different gods that they worked very hard to appease. They had many different gods that they had to feed and trick and quiet and essentially conquer. Sounds an awful lot like Western society, doesn't it? All of the different gods, small g, that we feed, that we manipulate, that we try to conquer and get and trick and appease. So staying with us, the Greeks also gave us tragedy. Think of the Greek tragedies in classical theater. On the other hand, something very important to note, ancient Israel gave the world the idea of hope. Of hope. We're celebrating hope this week in Advent. Catholics all over the world, people who celebrate Advent. It's this idea of hope. The Jewish people gave us the idea of a loving God, a relationship with God, and through that love and hope, the ability to discover meaning in our lives. So through the metaphysical lens, this is a metaphysical teaching here in New Thought Center for Spiritual Living. We understand that what we focus on increases. And if we are focusing the majority of our energy on tragedy and challenge and manipulating and tricking and conquering something or someone, it doesn't matter how powerful we think we are, we will never win. Why? Because, as the Jewish people taught us, love always wins. Love always and ultimately wins. If we dedicate ourselves to taking a stand for justice, to having faith in the power of love and grounded hope and triumph of the light over and overcoming the shadowed parts of this world, surely we will, like the ancient Maccabees, rise above whatever challenges appear, and we will transform them. But this is our work, to stay in the energy of light, to stay in the energy of love. Remember, the metaphysical meaning of light is divine intelligence, to keep our wits about us, to keep our heart and our mind above, while still doing the very important work. Like the Maccabees, we must commit to doing this work. And we do that here through classes and workshops, through conversations and spiritual growth circles. Rev Masando and I and Sarah, we have lots planned for the winter and spring, for you all, for us to grow, to do this work individually and collectively. Like the Maccabees, we must stay the course and not give up when the oil is low. To stay in the energy and the action of grounded hope. I'm reading Brené Brown's newest book, Atlas of the Heart. I pre-ordered it. If you don't have it, I highly suggest it. And in it, she writes, "We need hope like we need air. right? We need hope like we need air, which brings us back to Hanukkah. So I've shared the social justice piece of the story, and now I want to share the mystical aspect. The mystical part is that even in their exhaustion and exasperation that there was only technically enough oil to last for one night, the mystical piece of the story is that the oil lasted for 8 nights, just the length it took for the person to come back on horseback or whatever, bringing the oil back to the temple. It lasted just that long, which is important in this story. You know, it's all very woo-woo and cool. Darcy, we love a good amount of woo-woo here. You know, don't we? Don't we? We all have these really cool stories. We call them woo-woo. We all have these really cool stories, you know, of those moments in our lives, those mystical, miraculous moments in our lives where we turned one way and met that person who introduced us to that person, and then we met that person that led us to that or that or that, you know? Or that obstacle that was in front of us. Someone came into our lives and supported us in such a way that had us shift our thinking or just do something different that brought us out of that or through that. We've all received gifts from people at just the right time, right? It could be a song from a musician we don't even know that miraculously shifts us in any given moment. These are our lived miracles. These are the lived miracles in our lives, and if you break it down, more often than not, those miracles, if you will, happen through other people on our behalf. God can only do for us what God can do through us, and that is not only true for us individually, but that is true for how we are connected to one another. We teach that there is only one here. We are all connected. We are each always performing miracles for each other all the time. All the time. And this season of light right now symbolizes this powerful, powerful idea that we can, and I believe we are meant to be, a light for someone who may need it. This is a huge part of our incarnation here. I know, baby. Yes. Amen, little one. It is. So, I'm going to get away from that rug. I'm going to talk to you down here. So, there was a rabbi who was teaching in an 8th grade classroom. And she was teaching these very eager students. And one of them raised their hand and said, Rabbi, having a very 8th grade existential crisis, we've all been there. Rabbi, I know that I'm supposed to do something important in my life, but I don't know what it is. What is my purpose? How do I know what my purpose is? And the rabbi said, okay, all right. You going to pull that carpet for me? Yes. All right. Thank you both. Oh, your loves. We're good. I'll just dodge it. Thanks. It's just us. It's fine. Thank you. See, that's family. That's spiritual family right there, what Rev Barb was talking about last week. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. All right. So the student raises their hand and says, I know that I'm supposed to do something important with my life. I just don't know what that is. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? And the rabbi looked at the class and said, okay, class, what is the most important job in the world? And the students from all corners of the classroom started raising their hands and shouting out, the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Israel, a parent, a teacher, a doctor, a firefighter. One kid who was wanting to get a good grade, a rabbi is the most important job. And then the student said, well, Rabbi, that all sounds great, but I still don't know. What is it that I am supposed to do? What am I supposed to do with my life? And the rabbi said, let me tell you something. A long, long, long time ago, before there were iPads and iPhones and Disney Plus and Netflix, before all of that, before there was even electricity, she said, In every town and every village, on every corner, there was a lamp. And when the light went down at sundown, it had to be lit. Otherwise, the entire town and the village would be in complete darkness. And there was a lamp lighter in the village. There was one person whose sole job it was. They would carry these really long poles with a light at the end of it. And their sole job was to light the lamp on every corner where it needed to be lit so that the people would be in the light, not in the darkness. And so, of course, this got the kids thinking, and one of them raised their hand and they said, well, what if there's a lamp in the middle of the desolate wilderness, in the middle of nowhere? And the rabbi said, well, they would have to absolutely go there. This lamplighter would have to go out to the wilderness, to the desolate place, and light that lamp. And then another student raised their hand and said, well, hang on. What if there was some way, 8th graders, what if there was some way that there was a pole in the middle of the ocean sticking straight up? Then what? And the rabbi said, well, they would have to put on a bathing suit and swim out to the middle of the ocean and somehow get up there and light the lamp. And all the kids were just like, wow. But the original student who asked the question raised their hand again and said, well, this is all wonderful, but I still don't know what I'm supposed to do. To which the rabbi replied, do whatever you are going to do. Have whatever job you are going to have. But your purpose in life, no matter where you go, is always to light a light into the dark places. That is our purpose in this life, is to be a light for those who need it. To go out into the middle of the darkened ocean of someone's heart and being and bring them to shore. Remind them who they are, whose they are, and the light within them that they have just forgotten. This is our purpose. And this brings me to this beautiful menorah. And for those of you who are not Jewish, this is actually called a Hanukkah. This is the type of menorah it means it has 4 candles on either side. And the candle in the middle is the tallest one. That is called the shamash. The shamash is the candle that is used to light all the other candles in the Jewish tradition. And this will happen tonight all over the world. Jewish people will take their shamash and they will light all of the candles. And what I find so exquisitely beautiful about this is that the shamash sort of has the highest place of prominence on the Hanukkah, right? The menorah. It has the highest place. And yet, the word shamash means servant. Its entire purpose is to light the other candles, to be in service, to shine light for others. This is such a beautiful reminder that we get to be the shamash. That is truly what we are here to be, the lamplighter, the shamash. The shamash is known as the helper candle. The helper candle. In her book, Wholehearted Faith, published posthumously, Rachel Held Evans wrote, ancient Hebrew thought viewed the heart as an engine of action. It was seen as the muscle that moves us. The thoughts of the heart weren't these discrete, contained spiritual thought bubbles, but precursors of action. The heart is the precursor of action. So I am going to invite us this week into heartfelt precursor of action inspired by this beautiful Jewish tradition, I'm going to invite us into a spiritual practice this week of lighting at least one candle, if you're willing, lighting at least one candle per day for someone else. Are you willing to do that this week? Each day as a spiritual practice, light a candle. You can light more if you choose, but at least one, to intentionally light a candle for someone else. This is an ancient ritual, and it's echoed throughout spirituality and the world's religions across the ages. And we teach here in New Thought that we are all connected on the seen and the unseen sides of life, and that science and spirituality truly do walk hand in hand now, finally. Science can prove that prayer or sending positive energy, if that's more comfortable for you, works. Even on the microscopic level, it is felt. And so this week, as a heartfelt precursor of action, you might light a candle for someone you know who may be in the middle of what feels like a dark ocean for them. Maybe you light a candle for someone who is sick or who is afraid or who is struggling. Or maybe you light a candle for the honoring of a loved one who has passed to the other side of life. Maybe you light a candle for our country right now. Maybe you choose to light a candle for the women of our country right now, or the families of the high school students who were killed. Maybe you choose to light a candle for all of those experiencing racism or homophobia. Maybe you choose to light a candle for those that are oppressed and for the oppressors. That is how we are going to create peace in this lifetime. To light a candle and then to move our feet, to do what is ours to do. There are so many opportunities here in this community. So let us this week look at the places on our block, in our families, in our communities, where we can choose to be the shamash for someone else. Let us take the ancient story of the Maccabees and dedicate ourselves to taking a stand for what is right and what is good and what is always, always possible in love. Let us help light the way to greater peace and equity and love in our world. Let's pray. I invite you to take a deep breath. And in this moment, I'm inviting the practitioners forward to fill this space with their loving, prayerful energy, recognizing and knowing that this prayer, this energy, this field of loving light ripples out, not only to those here and those with us online, but out into this world. How good it is to know the one divine presence that is light itself, is this light that we all come from, that we are a part of, this love, this source light, this divine intelligence, which has been with us, as the Buddhists say, since before we had a face. The eternality of who we are is this light and this love and this grace and this glory. And what a blessing it is to know that we are here to share it, to be the lamp lighters in this world no matter what, to be the shamash for ourselves so that we can light the light for others. And so I affirm in this moment that all of our friends and family, that this spiritual community that is spiritual family, is uplifted by this light, and this love ripples and surrounds and enfolds anyone who is needing it in this moment, anyone who is impacted by violence of any kind, racism of any kind, challenge of any kind. Together we affirm on this next breath that this light and this love is right where they are, because there is in truth, in the highest truth, no separation. We are one of the one as the one. And in this moment, in this energy of love, and this time, this season of light, I just bless all people everywhere, those who gather in mosques and ashrams and temples and synagogues and circles and paths and living rooms, recognizing that we are all in this human family together, and we get to bless one another. We get to show up. We get to be the light. And we get to love. What a blessing it is to be in this together. So blessing it all with profound gratitude, I rest in this knowing and I allow it to be. And so it is. Blessed be. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So it's amazing to be a part of a community that Are we there? No? Should I grab another mic? There we go. Thank you. I love this idea that we are a church that is about woo-woo and social justice. That was definitely one of the things that called me to be here. You know, in my mind, there's no separation between justice work and having an experience of our human family and our connection to all that is. And so I'm so grateful to be a part of a community that holds both of those things so deeply as a value of the fact that our spirituality is in fact enhanced by the work that we get to do out in the world. And so know that, you know, when you give to this organization, not only does it just help for our daily operations, but we tithe 10% of every single dollar that we bring in to organizations that are doing work in our local community. And so just by being a part of this center, just by giving of your energy and your time and your treasure and your talent that you are giving back to the world, you are truly lighting a candle. So I just want to thank you for being a part of that, and to know that like when we're doing this together, we could participate in this thing called the divine in such a deeper way that we could never do simply on our own. So whether you're joining us online or you're here locally, just thank you for the ways that you are a part of and you contribute to the betterment of this world and to the betterment of yourself in that process. So I'd invite you, if you are here in the room or you're there online, to take your gift. And if you're texting, take your cell phone out. You can hold it over your heart and allow it to be a symbol of the ways in which your life has been so deeply connected to the divine, and that as your heart opens, that produces action within you to help make the world, to help bring light into the places that need it, to help bring love into the places that are calling for it. And so we know that our gift ripples out. It just goes forth out into the world, and it reaches far deep into our own hearts, transforming us from within. And so it's from that place that I invite us to say our offertory blessing together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Once again, Darcy Bradley.
a frosty window pane, light a candle for the woman who is lonely, and every Christmas is the same, for the children who need more than presents can bring. Light a candle, light the dark, light the world, light a heart or two. Light a candle for me, I light a candle for you. Light a candle for the homeless and the hungry, little shelter from the cold. Light a candle for the broken and forgotten. May the season warm your soul. Here we open our hearts to shine through the dark. Light a candle, light the dark, light the world, light a heart or two. Light a candle for me, I light a candle for you. Ooh, and in this special time of year, may peace on earth surround us here, and teach us there's a better way to live. Oh, and with every flame that burns, we must somehow learn that love's the greatest gift that we could ever give. Light a candle, light the dark, light the world, light a heart or two. I light a candle for me, I light a candle for you. Light a candle, light the dark, light the world, light a heart or two. I light a candle for me, I light a candle for you. I light a candle for me, I light a candle for you. I light a candle for me, I light a candle for you. Thank you, guys.
Darcy Bradley, it is so good to have you with us. Thank you so much. So, just a few announcements for you today, but wanted to start with bringing up one of our community members, Jen Moore. You know, one of the ways that we can light a candle is by participating in our Giving Tree project, and know that we have tags out there right outside here today. But we invited Jen Moore, who has participated in this program, just to share some words with us about what it's meant to her. So thanks, Jen.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all. So 6 years ago, my world dropped out from underneath me. 3 months later, I found myself newly single as a mama during the holidays. And can I tell y'all something? I had never put a Christmas tree in a Christmas stand and put lights on. If Parker were back from children's program, he would tell you it was a mess. It was a mess. So faced with my new reality, looking for full-time work to support me and my awesome kiddo, while also grieving the loss of my marriage and the loss of my extended family of in-laws, because a long time ago I had already separated from my family of origin. And by painting a bleak picture, y'all, it was bleak. It was bleak. I was wondering how I was going to make Christmas happen for me, for my kiddo. So guess what my love language is? One guess. Presents. Thank you, Shelly. Shelly knows. So a friend at church suggested that I put my name down for the giving tree, and my first thought was, well, I don't need it bad enough. There are other people out there who need it more than me. Well, she set me straight. So for 3 years, this beautiful community gifted me and my son. You gave me a gorgeous robe, some yoga workout clothes, coffee maker. You gave my kid toys. And y'all, the biggest surprise one Christmas morning was when he opened up all of this beautiful new bedding. Christmas morning ended right there. Who knew a kid would just go gaga over bedding? So thank you. So thank you for being that helper light. Thank you for being the light that lights. And please grab a tag, because you may not have known that you were helping me in my dark nights, but I knew that you were helping me. Thank y'all.
This is so good. This is what it means to be in community together, y'all. So please participate in the Giving Tree program. Go grab a tag on your way out. Today's the last day you can do that. The gifts need to be back by this week. So you can also, if you're tuning in online, you can also do this online. Check out our Giving Tree program online. There's ways for you to do that as well. In addition to our Giving Tree program, we also have our pet food drive for all our little fur babies out there. That benefits Clackamas County Animal Shelter. So, we're collecting things for those little pets that are in need, and that drive and the Giving Tree drive goes through this next week. So, just get everything back here by Sunday, December 12th, a week from today. And our last announcement is we have a workshop coming up that we're very happy that's going on. It's being given by practitioner Christine Ruddy, and it's our story of grief, a healing practice. And so that's going to be going on Sunday, December 12th from 12:30 to 2:30. For more information, just go to newthoughtcsl.org. So I invite the practitioners to stand one more time. Hey, if you all are in need of some prayer, or if you want to celebrate something that's going really well in your life, we have practitioners here that are ready to pray with you and willing to be a place to hold space, to be that light for you in your life. So they're going to be right outside, right underneath our beautiful trees here after service. And we also have a way for you all to do that online. So please, if you're engaging with us online, this is a way for you to start connecting with our community. Just get some prayer after service, whether that we have it live, and also you can fill that out online. So I invite the practitioners to go and take your spots outside. And I bring Reverend Shannon up one last time for our closing announcements.
Yes, thank you. And just for those of you who are curious, Carolyn let me know that some of you are asking about our holiday services. We'll make our formal, it's all on the website, we'll make our formal announcement next week with the graphic and all pretty. But those of you who want to save the date, our holiday services are going to be December 23rd at 7 p.m. And that is our candle lighting service. And on Christmas Eve, the 24th, we are doing a family service at 11 a.m., and we have it on good authority that Santa Claus will be stopping by for that service. So not only is it for us, but it's for the kids in us. I want to take a moment and thank so much those of you who are all watching online, those of you from New York City and Oregon and California and Colorado and Nevada. We also have people in India watching us right now, and in Germany and in Mexico. We love you all. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for being part of our online community. We feel you in this space. For those of you who are here, we're going to try something new for our exit this time. Again, we're just going to be exiting the interest of safety and social distancing from the back row forward. So I invite you just to kind of keep an eye on who might be in the row behind you. And just make your way right out, grab a tag, and we'll visit outside, prayer outside. So with that, let us together say our closing blessing. May you go in the light, as the light, and with the light, until we meet again. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Please stand as you're able. Let's sing.
I release and I let go.